When ForKids approached William and I to do a story, we were at a loss. How were we, two high school boys, supposed to find a story that was both interesting and we could reflect on it? We were 100% confident in every single one of the decisions we have ever made.
Well, then we remembered the time the police got called on us. But that was like a one-time thing.
Now, you might be wondering, two nice young men? Probably the epitome of maturity? How were the police called on us? I'll take you back. It was freshman year, and our parents were at a party. That means we had full reign of the house. PG-13 movies, root beer, a little game of poker in between. It was going to be a crazy night.
However, as most 14-year-old boys get, we were bored within the first 5 minutes of being home. So I made the executive decision to go wander outside the neighborhood. Not exactly looking for trouble,
but not necessarily running from it.
After about 5 minutes of walking around, we ran into an employee at the bakehouse at Chelsea, my family's bakery, located at 1233 West Olney Road, Norfolk, Virginia 23507.
An artisan bakery known for pastries, pizza, and bread. Now, talking to his good friend Kenny, he was initially surprised to see us out so late. And he said, "Don't get into trouble." And we promised him
that would never happen.
We would never get into trouble.
Unfortunately, after about 2 minutes later, we were bored and looking for trouble. So I decided to employ a tactic that my brothers had taught me growing up in our neighborhood. Now, this tactic involves running up to a neighbor's doorbell or door, knocking on it or ringing the doorbell, and running away, diving behind a bush or a car, looking at their curious face and laughing with your buddies. People call this a lot of different things. Ding-dong ditching, practical joke, trespassing.
Now, the third house we rang the doorbell and ran away from employed the last definition.
Trespassing.
Now, just a quick side note, the first two houses William and I rang the doorbell, they didn't even catch us.
We didn't get caught.
No idea who it was.
However, the police nor our parents were interested in those two houses. So, looking for a way to close out our night, we were looking for a doozy of a house. After a couple minutes, we found it. Ceiling to floor covered in windows. Every single window lit up. Front door wide open. No cars or bushes in the front. Nowhere to hide. I looked at Zachary and said, "All right, dude, this is the one." As I crept up to the neighbor's door, I looked back and said, "Oh, I don't think I can actually do this one," as my confidence waned. But with a quick flick of Zachary's hand, it looked like I was in too deep, and I had to go for it. So I walked up and rang their doorbell and turned my face away, but not quick enough, so I hid from the camera doorbell that snapped my picture.
A ring, as seen on ABC's Shark Tank.
I sprinted down the block back to Zachary and said, "Oh, dude, I think they got my picture."
Now, William is playing it cool in front of everybody, but he was more like, "Oh my gosh, I think it caught me.
No.
We're going to get in trouble. Oh my gosh."
Zachary's leaving out the part where his voice started to quiver and tears fell from his eyes, and he said, "Do you think they're going to call my mom?"
Now, we can agree to disagree, but as the brave leader of the group, I told us that we couldn't worry about what happened in the past, and we continued into the darkness looking for another house to hit. That was when it all went downhill.
Zachary's phone began to ring, and the weird thing is, who would be calling him at this hour? Who was out walking around or on their phone right now? It's ridiculous.
Exactly, but it was my mother. My mother was not very happy. She had received an alert on Nextdoor.
Nextdoor is our neighborhood's community website and app, which boasts over 500 members on the West Ghent side of things. Now, the funny thing is, every single member gets an email alert when a new thing is posted to the website.
And the email alert they got on that fateful day was a picture of my good buddy in black and white, turning away from the camera, with the caption, "Suspicious males wandering neighborhood, ringing doorbells and running away. We have contacted the police."
When there's a black and white photo of your face with a horrified look on it, running away from someone's front door at 1 in the morning, you're going to look like a criminal.
Now I turned to William and gave him the news that we probably should get back.
I didn't believe Zachary. I've been doing this whole ding-dong ditching thing for a long time, all right? I was competent in my skills to get away.
Now, I feared my mother a lot more than I feared the police.
Understandably.
So I sent him the photo that my mom had sent me, and I quickly walked home.
Staring at my famous face, I thought, oh my gosh, I have to go tell my mom and dad this. So I sprinted home and wound up in my parents' bedroom at 1 in the morning. I shook my mom awake with the words that all parents love to hear. "Mom, Dad, the police are downstairs. They want to talk to me." Now, all right, I was exaggerating a little bit. They weren't downstairs.
They were just on the way.
So after my parents jumped out of bed, what? So confused, I got things smoothed over with them and explained the entire thing. After several hours, emails back and forth with the neighbor, and phone calls with the police, we got things smoothed over, and Zach and I were allowed to see each other again.
But our privileges of walking the neighborhood have still been suspended until further notice. Now, reflecting on this story as a newly minted 18-year-old as of today, the older one of us two,
barely,
the more mature one of us two,
okay.
I realized that what would we change? Now, we probably could have worn better running shoes, or just stayed inside and watched the movie, or not trespassed. But I think the moral of this story is that we always have to be honest, we always have to be respectful, and that listening to our parents is the number one thing.
Okay, what Zachary is trying to say is, if we were given the opportunity to do it again, would we? Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, yes we
Yep.
would.
Mm-hmm.
If it weren't for that fateful night, we would not be up here sharing our experience with you and doing this for charity.
And that photo got us a free dinner from ForKids.
Thank you.